Guess who got brands talking? Brandlive.co.za.
Welcome to the Financial Independence Coach, naturally creating freedom, meaning, and wealth. Brought to you by Yefo Pty Ltd, in association with Brandlive.co.za. And here is your host and coach, Yvonne E. Ventilo.
Welcome to a new year, a new month, New Year's resolutions, new dreams, new goals, new beginnings. But have you really ended off the last chapter of last year on the proper foot? Or are you just pushing forward on wishful thinking? For some, or rather most, January is the longest month in the income year, or on the salary calendar. Let me rather say it that way. This could be the result of many reasons. Overspending on Christmas and the holidays. The new school year spending on uniforms, books, stationery. And for some, this is where the credit cards start being overused. Starting a new chapter in your life, again, on the wrong financial foot. Negative gearing of debt. This is where the quote out of a very old book that has been around for centuries rings true. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is the servant of the lender. Makes you think, doesn't it? You work the whole year round to earn a 13th check, a bonus check. All gets spent on a luxurious holiday at the coast in the bushveld. Hey, we've worked the whole year, we deserve it. But then comes January. You haven't reviewed what happened last year, where you're standing, what you're doing, what you did, what you achieved, what you still want to achieve. You haven't done proper planning for the year ahead. And you're back to the grindstone to pay off the debt that you have now created to just make it through the first month of the year. This is where Robert Kiyosaki is well known for his quote of modern slavery. If we work for the lenders to repay the debt, to buy the food, isn't that just a way of being enslaved? My personal favorite, of course, is Tony Robbins' way of explaining it, that a rising tide lifts all ships. Everybody is jolly in December. Get pay early, get that bonus checks, have a beautiful, lovely, glorious Christmas holiday, spending it on gifts, having a fun time. Budgeting the school clothes, budgeting the school books, budgeting the stationery, but really not keeping track of everything that we do. Then comes January, and the saying of, it's the end of the money, but not the end of the month, does really start ringing true. January should be an epiphany, a season of epiphany, a aha month. Last year should have been closed off, should have ended with a review, a reevaluation of, are we still being true to who we naturally are and what we want to achieve? And if we have slightly veered off the path, it should be incorporated into our strategy for the next year to move forward. Now, a few people has told me that naturally has got nothing to do with finances and financial literacy. Well, of course, emotions and who we are has got nothing to do with accounting. The, let's say, law of how numbers are recorded. But financial literacy is not financial education. It incorporates financial education, but it is not financial education itself. Financial literacy is an incorporation of the education of your relationship, or rather than your emotions, towards money, towards income, towards all aspects of finances. If you are the type of person that goes big in Christmas and spends your entire bonus check on Christmas gifts and food and outings on holidays and what do you have left of your naughty badge? And when I say naughty badge, I mean your bonus check. How much of that have you invested? Not necessarily into an investment or a unit trust or your retirement annuity or any of those financial vehicles, but how much of that have you invested for your future? How much of that have you put aside for the year to come? Towards a slush fund, towards possible future needs, towards maybe carrying you through the January month. Because remember, January is now the longest salary month on the calendar. And then you get a very short month of February. And then it's March. And we go on with the rest of the year. But by the time you get to March, can you really remember what you did with your bonus? On your tax returns, can you really say that you have invested in yourself, invested in your future? Or is everything just going towards your liabilities? Income in, expenses out, negative gearing of debt, nothing being built up for future use. There's a very old tale, and I'm not sure of the origins of it, but it's a tale of the locust and the ant. And you might know it, but I'll just quickly review the storyline. Where the ant is hard at work, constantly working, walking up and down, gathering. And the locust is sitting back and enjoying the sun, enjoying life. Because in the summer, food is, well, abundant. And the locust asks the ant why she keeps on working so hard. And she asks him, why isn't he? For surely he should be gathering now for when winter comes. And when winter does come, the locust has to travel far to find food, and the ant has got a stockhouse full. It brings me back to my favorite saying of Tony Roberts, of a rising tide rises all ships. But winter is coming. Have you prepared for winter? Have you used that extra bonus to set aside some for winter? Or have you spent it all on Christmas and holidays? Has it all gone into instant gratification? Has it all gone into the pleasure of the moment, the now, the year? For all my coaching clients, I always say December should be your review month of what you have done, how far you have come. Have you actually achieved what you set out to achieve the past year? And what is your plans for the new year? And no, I'm not talking New Year's resolutions, because we all know those only go so far. It's a shocking amount of New Year's resolutions don't even see the 15th of January. Less than a third sees the end of January. There's less than 3% that actually makes it into February. But now, let's first take a break, and we'll continue the discussion afterwards.
Harnessing the power of talk radio. Brandlive.co.za.
The station with the best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
This one is explosive.
Brandlive.co.za.
Lunatic, 'cause I do what I want, and I get what I want when I want it.
You know life can be so ordinary. Boy meets girl, they said, oh, make a baby.
Brandlive.co.za. Making a bold statement yet blending into the surrounding suburbs of Melville, 27 Boxes is a realization of edgy design and practical implementation. A radical departure from the shopping malls of our generation, yet not a return to the high streets of our youth. 27 Boxes showcases the best of a shopping centre set in a garden, surrounded by the bohemian suburb that is Melville. 27 Boxes, shop, play, eat. Live from 27 Boxes in the heart of Melville, this is brandlive.co.za.
And we are back. You're listening to the Financial Independence Coach, recorded here live at 27 Boxes on brandlive.co.za. Before the break, we spoke about spending the entire bonus, not taking some of that and putting it away for future needs. Talking about a rising tide. Talking about the winter that's coming. And very few people actually do understand what needs to be done to get this balance correctly implemented. Now, if you're too emotional about money and you just want to hoard it the whole time, you want to become for lack of a better example, a Scrooge McDuck. Yes, you are going to get rich. Yes, you are going to be financially independent. Yes, you are going to achieve those financial goals. But at what cost? Are you really a miser at heart? Or do you actually want to enjoy life? Do you actually want to provide the type of life for your children, for the next generation, that you wish upon yourself? Or do you just want to keep everything in a vault, under a bed, stashed away, so that the only thing that can reach it is dust? Or on the completely opposite side of the scale, do you really want to walk around with a bucket that is so full of holes it could most probably be a sieve, that you keep on pouring in, but not a drop remains because it's all pouring out? And that's where the balance comes in. You need to be emotionally stable enough. Logically thinking and problem solving is all part of the equation. Combine emotions with logic thinking. Logic thinking is your education, your financial education, your accounting, your economics, knowing all those factors, combining it all into one, and then have a balancing act to move forward. Now, from each person that differs. For some, the balancing act is a little bit finer tuned, because there's more people that needs to be catered for. A mother and the father of a family with youngsters in the house will obviously spend more on education moving forward than a single young adult spends on the education on himself. And that's where the planning comes in, the budgeting, the forward thinking, making sure that everything actually does extend and goes as far as you need it to go. Now, having New Year's resolutions and saying, my New Year's resolution this year is to start building my financial empire, to be financially free, to actually get to the end of the month before I get to the end of the money. If you don't do proper planning for it, and now I'm not just saying logical planning, accounting planning, okay, every day I am just going to spend 10 Rand, and that way I can get through the entire month with what I've got left. You're not bringing yourself, your natural self, your emotional self, your physical need into the equation. And that's why most of these resolutions, these wishful thinking goals, or rather dreams, never comes to fulfilling. Because you haven't incorporated all factors that needs to be incorporated. And it's one thing to do the planning on a piece of paper and in a book and keeping a record of it, and all good, very brilliantly laid out pictures drawn, step-by-step milestones, quarterly reviews, monthly to-do and action plans. But are you following through with it? Do you have an accountability partner that supports you, that pushes you when you need to be pushed to go that extra mile to implement and fulfill what you have planned? Or is it just wishful thinking on paper? Remember, a goal is a dream written on paper, a strategy worked out for it to actually achieve it. But it can only be achieved if you actually take action. There's a famous quote that states that a lot of brilliant ideas dies a silent death due to a lack of action. And that rings true of New Year's resolutions. That rings true of wishful thinking and dreaming of what you want to achieve. But don't actually lay the discipline down to achieve it. Now, if you have done your review at the end of December and you've done it properly and you realize that maybe you didn't quite fulfill what you wanted to fulfill, if you've done your recording and your tracking of all your spending, of all your actions, of everything that you have done and not have done, you would actually find your epiphany, your aha moment, your eureka, I have found the solution. I know where I've gone wrong. And that way, you can start the new year, this new beginning, this new chapter in your life on the right foot. And unfortunately, this is a lesson that more than 90% of us still have not learned. If you cannot go back to track what you have done, how you have done it, where you have done it, how can you accurately start planning, building an empire, building financial independence, building a greater, bigger new year this year? If your foundation is not on solid rock, on solid recorded information, where are you heading? Now look, it's never too late to start putting that solid foundation down. Putting that green Lego piece down and saying, okay, I start from here. But then start and don't stop. As I previously said, and I've quoted, the difference between a master and a newbie is the amount of times that the master has started and failed and started again. Where a newbie only starts and then calls it quits. With most New Year's resolution, a lot of people start with a new diet, stop smoking, building financial independence, going to go after that degree, that achievement that is so desired, wanted. But the need, the deep-seated need within the person, within the individual, is not deep enough that they actually yearn for it in such a way that their pain if they don't go after it. And that's what divides wishful thinking, New Year's resolutions, and actual achievers, masters. For a master will start again and record everything and build up again from where he has stopped at the end of last year to build a greater and bigger new year on all fronts of his life, keeping everything in balance, being true to his natural self, building the order, the systems in his life to create the freedom, building the relationships, the culture, the meaning, to build the wealth. Where a newbie would say, this is my year for financial freedom. That's what I'm going to work on. That's where I'm going. But sad to say, newbie, it doesn't work that way. So for the rest of this year, I'm going to take you guys on a journey. Every week, we are going to handle a specific subject. But until next time, I want you to actually sit down and start creating a foundation. Where are you now? What are you doing? What do you have? Think back to last year, what you have done, and record that information. Written, digital, whichever way you want to do it, just record it. So that you have a foundation to move forward from. Do a shoebox experiment of all your December spending and note what you've done. And then next week, when we're back together, I'll take you step by step how to start building your own system. But from now, from me, I say goodbye. Have a brilliant week. Here from 27 Boxes in Melville, in the Brand Live studio, I say, peace be with you.
Harnessing the power of talk radio. brandlive.co.za